Wonderful. We'd like to welcome you to the July 24, 2025 Maricopa County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. We'd like to start with a roll call.
Commissioner Dan Zeisen. Commissioner Finter.
Present.
Commissioner Hernandez. Commissioner Lawrence. Commissioner Layton.
Here.
Commissioner Milhaven.
Here.
Commissioner Toma.
Here.
Commissioner Whitney.
Here.
Commissioner Wakwalik. Chairman Lindblom. Chairman Lindblom. We do not have a quorum yet.
Okay.
Chairman Lindblom is on, but it looks like he's self-muted.
I know we were just finishing up our leadership meeting.
I have him on the phone.
Wonderful.
Chairman Lindblom.
It just doesn't have me as a panel.
Okay,
So
we got you. We got you on speaker. Whoops, we did.
hello.
Hey, Jimmy, we got you on my speakerphone.
Do you want me just to try to relog in as a panelist?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Here you go.
Give that a moment. I know he was in a remote location, so I'm sure he's working hard to make that technology work.
So Chairman Lindblom is on the phone and Commissioner Finter will be acting chair.
Wonderful. So I'm just waiting for you to say we have a quorum.
We're waiting for Chairman Lindblom.
Wonderful.
The voicemail for Jimmy Lindblom. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right.
We do have a quorum.
Wonderful. We have a quorum. We'll begin and proceed with the announcements. This meeting has been noticed in accordance with Open Meeting Law, ARS 38-431. Agendas are available within 24 hours of each meeting in the Maricopa County Planning and Development Office, and are also available on the Planning and Development website 1 week prior to hearing at www.maricopa.gov/planning. The staff reports prepared for each agenda item shall become part of the permanent record for each case. With respect to the hearing process, cases will be considered in the order they appear on the agenda unless otherwise agreed to by the commission. For each case, the applicant will be given a set amount of time to present. Anyone wishing to speak on a particular item shall fill out a speaker's card for in-person attendance or raise your hand within the GoToWebinar. The amount of time allowed for speaking shall be at the discretion of the commission chair. The staff will provide the chairman with the names of persons who have registered and note and noted desire to comment. And those registered participants who have their hands raised, who raised their hand, excuse me. The chairman will call on each named participant one at a time. The chairman will conduct a hybrid in-person and virtual public hearing according to the bylaws and according to the rules established by the chairman regarding public comment. Votes will be done by roll call vote only. The chairman will verbally identify the specific members responsible for all motions and seconds. Okay, I think we'll move to the next item, which is minutes. Commissioners, are there any questions or comments on the minutes? And I believe that was July, I was out of town,
June 26th.
or June 26th of 2025. Anybody have any comments for those meetings? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and have those minutes approved. Okay. Staff, are there any announcements to be included past the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, we're pulling item 5 from consent due to registered opposition and a question from one of the commissioners.
Okay, item 5 will be pulled from the consent. Okay, staff, if you'll please proceed with the presentation of the consent agenda, Darren.
Mr. Chairman, the remaining 5 cases will remain on consent, and they are SU 240024, known as Lake Pleasant Assisted Living 2 in District 4, special use permit.
Could I interrupt really quick?
Of course,
For
go ahead.
clarity. Yeah, this is Chairman Lindblom. For clarity, is item 5 the Val Vista and Ocotillo?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure we were pulling the right one. Thank you.
The consent agenda includes SU 240024, Lake Pleasant Assisted Living 2 in District 4. It's a special use permit for a 10 resident community residence in the rural 43 zoning district located less than or approximately 1,000 feet from another group home, which is less than the ordinance required 1,200 foot separation on a 1.1 acre property at the southeast corner of Lake Pleasant Parkway and Calle Lejos. There's no known opposition. The recommendation in paragraph 24 is for approval, subject to conditions A through J. Item 2 is MCP 250002, known as Rock for Less in District 4. It's a military compatibility permit with a plan development for aggregate rock cells in the rural 43 MAA MF zoning district on an acre located at the northeast corner of Saraval and Ocotillo. There's no known opposition. The recommendation in paragraph 20 is for approval, subject to conditions A through I. Item 3 is Z250007, known as Sierra Luna Best Facility in District 5. This is Industrial 2 IUPD zone change for a proposed future battery energy storage system facility on an 18.5 acre site generally located northwest of Avondale Boulevard and Broadway in the Avondale area. There's no known opposition and 4 letters of support. The recommendation in paragraph 13 is for approval, subject to conditions A through J. Case SU 250008, known as 212 Citrus RV Storage in District 5, is a special use permit for RV and boat storage on a 4.5 acre site in the rural 43 zoning district located at the northwest corner of Harrison Street and Citrus Road. There's no known opposition. The recommendation in paragraph 14 is for approval, subject to conditions A through H. And then finally, agenda item 6, Z250014, is known as Arlington Propane in District 5, is an Industrial 3 IUPD rezoning of 31.8 acres on the southwest side of Sloan Highway, north of the Southern Pacific Railroad in the Arlington area. The proposal is for a future rail truck propane terminal. There's no known opposition. The recommendation in paragraph 12 is for approval, subject to conditions A through G. Happy to answer any questions about those 5 case items.
Wonderful, thank you, sir. Commissioners, are there any questions of staff on this consent agenda? Hearing none, let me ask, is there anyone from the public interested in speaking that's in attendance here on the consent agenda? Okay, David, are there any additional inquiries or anyone from the public on GoToWebinar that wish to speak?
We're not aware of anyone.
Okay, so far so good. Okay, I saw no one with raised hands. With no speakers on the consent agenda, we will go ahead and close the public forum. Okay, commissioners, are there any questions? If there's no questions, we'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Commissioner
have a-
Finter, this is
Yes, go ahead.
or acting Chair Finter. Thank you, by the way, for being willing to change your schedule and come in today just so we could keep the quorum and make this meeting happen. But
Sure.
I am prepared to make a motion to approve the consent agendas as presented by staff.
Wonderful. We have a motion by Chairman Limblom for approval of the consent agenda. Do we have a second?
Mr. Acting Chairman, this is Warren Whitney. I will second the motion.
Wonderful. We have a second by Commissioner Whitney. Thank you, sir. Let's go ahead and do our call. Aye.
Commissioner Layton,
Yes.
Commissioner Milhaven,
Yes.
Commissioner Toma,
Yes.
Commissioner Whitney,
Yes.
Chairman Limblom.
Yes.
Chairman, we have a motion recommending approval of the consent agenda by a vote of 6-0.
Wonderful. Thank you. The motion passes. Okay. The next item then looks like it'll be item 5. And we look forward to having a presentation to hear all about this.
Acting Chair Finter, members of the commission. Item 5 is case Z250011. It's a request for a zone change with overlay from rural 43 to C2 CPD on approximately 13 acres located at the southeast corner of Val Vista Drive and Ocotillo Road. This is within a county island in the town of Gilbert planning area. Applicants requesting a rezone to allow for future commercial development, including restaurants, office space, and a self-storage facility on the eastern portion of the site. Property is currently underdeveloped, but surrounding development has intensified in recent years. Notably, there is a Lifetime Fitness under construction across the street, and Gilbert Christian School sits directly south. The proposed C2 CPD overlay limits certain incompatible uses, such as adult-oriented businesses, marijuana establishments, and billboards. It also includes enhanced setbacks and landscaping to buffer adjacent residential and school uses. Staff has additionally recommended a condition requiring the applicant to secure a pre-annexation utilities agreement with the town prior to full site development. Staff finds the proposal consistent with regional development patterns and supports commercial zoning at this arterial intersection. Therefore, staff is recommending approval with conditions A through J as listed in the staff report and handout memo. At this time, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Wonderful. Commissioners, any questions for staff?
Acting Chair Finter, I have
Yes.
questions.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you for allowing us to pull this from consent, the board or the commission and staff. I pulled it for 2 reasons. One is an overall understanding of our position and the discussion, I think, about how we when and how we require pre-annexation requirements. It doesn't feel like we always do. In fact, it feels like we don't more often than not require pre-annexation agreements. I understand that we certainly don't want county islands all over the place when can be avoided as things develop. There's an overall strategy, right, for us to not have like police being the sheriff and the town of, in this case, town of Gilbert. I get those types of things, but I think that was my question with staff, and then I also probably want to direct some questions to the applicant. But to staff, why pre-annexation in this particular case, where it looks like the use that they're proposing could be served by septic, and it looks like they're trying to conform with the town standards, but like, why are we requiring pre-annexation in this particular case?
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, this is
Please.
and acting chair and Mr. Chairman online. This is Darren, and Joel's here to correct me where I go wrong. Condition D requires a plan of development. This is in an urbanizing county island. Often, if we do not have a pre-annexation utility service agreement, we can expect a site to develop with a use that's allowed by septic and less likely to be annexed to the in the future. The ultimate annexing municipality here is Town of Gilbert. What we don't want to foster is a permanent county island. It's bad for the provision of services. It's bad for emergency services. It's ultimately bad for the taxpayers of the county to foster these county islands. Urban areas need to ultimately be annexed into the cities and towns. They're a part of the community and they need to be a part of the government of that community. I hope that answers that question. Happy to try and answer further.
Yeah,
Chairman,
and I'll ask you. Yeah, I'll ask you to dive a little deeper because I agree with everything you just said. And on a particular case like this, like where you have a property owner that is developing a partial of a site, and maybe the use of septic or the annexation's not fully like required at that point, but it looks like it probably would be in the future. Like this, I don't know that we are in this particular case setting up a permanent county island scenario, but I think that's my question is like, how do we come to that determination? Because Darren, correct me if I'm wrong, like we don't put this provision in a lot of our deals, do we? Like it's probably, I mean, I don't know that it's even half. It's way less than that, isn't it?
Mr. Chairman and Chairman Limbaugh, we have, I believe we do it for the majority, and we should be doing it for all commercial rezonings and multifamily rezonings and moderate density residential rezonings in these urbanized county islands. And I think that fosters that furthers our planning policies for urban services for urban development. Majority of what you see are in more semi-rural areas and the more remote locations. So there's a lot of IUPD overlays for industrial in the more remote regions where we do not have any type of pre-annexation utility services agreement. We don't see an ultimate annexation occurring in the foreseeable or even in the foreseeable future, certainly. And of course, we would be unlikely to do it for special uses that are use specific, parcel specific, and interim for septic and in regions such as Rio Verde and New River. But I believe in the East Valley and Inner West Valley, where we have urbanized county islands and you're seeing rezones for urban style development, you regularly will be seeing a pre-annexation utility services agreement.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm bringing this up is like I'm a little bit torn on that policy that we require annexation for a person in a commercial use to be able to develop their property. Like for me, that I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, and that's why when I saw this provision, I was like, it just caused me to pause and think about that a little bit. And I suppose that's I think what I wanted to bring up today, and I'm curious to hear the applicant's thoughts around this process as well. And I'm certainly curious to hear about from other commissioners as well. Like, because I worry that we set precedent right when we start to do things like this, and I don't know if it's a precedent. I feel it's like case by case, and I don't know that this one, like to me, requires me to make a person in the county to like decide they have force them to join a town. There's a lot of reasons why people don't want to be in a town or a city, and it's because of overreach. And like I feel like this is just personal. You know, if I'm going to sign up to be, if I'm forcing a county member to become a member of a town, and I know that that's going to add considerable cost and regulation and restriction to them, I pause. I don't think in a lot of cases it makes sense for people to annex. I think towns and cities need to be better at like making it more attractive to try to annex. Like I've mentioned this many times before, my dad's on a county island and will never annex into the town of Gilbert. And it's because it doesn't make sense for him to do it. It adds new layers and requirements and restrictions to them. And so I understand this is a commercial purpose, but I worry about the precedent we're setting in like future cases of saying, if it's commercial use, we're going to require a pre-annexation agreement prior to them being able to develop. I would feel more comfortable in a scenario where I'm like, yeah, they can develop it and they have a requirement to annex prior to them like having a C of O. I don't know. You can see where my brain goes. I just don't like the leverage that it gives a town and city against the developer, because I've seen way too much overreach by towns and cities lately on what they require a developer to do. That's where my head's coming. And the county's not that way. We're very pragmatic and sensible, and we like help get growth and we help developers develop. And so I'm just a little bit afraid what we're doing with I don't know, Darren, any thoughts on that after hearing me ramble, or any other commissioners? Yeah.
Mr. Acting Chair and Mr. Chair online, I would point out the condition D, council has reminded me that the last sentence says, in lieu of a pre-annexation service agreement, the developer must provide a will serve letter from a certificated water and sewer providers. But what we are getting at is ensuring the service of both water and sewer so that we don't end up with permanent commercial development on septic without option for sewer service.
Yeah, and if we do that, we end up with like the White Barn scenario where the town says no on the sewer, and then it's right back at us. Like, I'm not comfortable putting a stipulation like that in if the applicant's not good with it, right? Because we see the scenarios where they say, okay, and then we know, like, literally in this particular case, the town of Gilbert, and I don't know if it's by law or by choice, they will not provide sewer to allow, they'll provide water, but they won't allow sewer. And so that provision's like essentially the same to me as if we didn't require pre-annexation, we're requiring a will serve on all utilities, including sewer, would be the same to me as requiring pre-annexation.
Mr. Chairman, there's a big difference between this and the White Barn example, and that was a special use permit. It was limited to a specific single use on a property. Staff did not recommend, it wasn't part of our technical review or recommendation to have the sewer connection that was stipulated between negotiation between the developer and neighbors. But it did become a condition, but it was not a technical issue nor the recommendation from staff originally. In this issue, it may change the staff stance on a case if this was to be unlimited sewer, basically unlimited uses entitled and commercial and septic. But in that instance, you may want to question, is this an appropriate site for commercial without full urban services? So I'll just defer to you guys to discuss that amongst yourselves and with the applicant.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you, Darren. Like in this particular case, it's self-storage and then some smaller like drive-through and others that aren't like super intense sewer uses, where if it was like a full-blown commercial project that was requiring a lot of sewer, I would certainly take probably a different position as well. That's why I said case. I'm like more of a case by case. And I do remember that White Barn. I don't want to make direct parallels. I know that was like special use permit, but what we did learn from that was they were not able to get septic or sewer, and then and they had agreed to that themselves, and then came back to us and asked us to remove that stipulation. I'm just saying in this particular case, like I view those two requirements as the same, pre-annexation or getting both of those, because they won't be able to go get sewer. So anyway, I'm curious from other commissioners, kind of just thoughts around requiring pre-annexation, but like from what all I see on this design, like they pretty much designed this, and I don't know, maybe that's a question to the applicant, but it looks like they designed this to I don't know fully if they designed this to town standards or what conversations they've had with the town, and maybe that's a good question. But on an overall, am I the only one that feels this way about like pre-annexation as a requirement on a commercial use? I feel like it should be case by case, and in this particular one, I'm leaning towards I don't really feel like it should be a requirement. So that's I guess the discussion.
Okay, Darren?
Mr. Chairman, just one more comment. Just to be clear, this isn't, this can't be viewed as just a proposal for RV and boat storage. That may be the initial use that's proposed, but if this was going to be locked in for RV and boat storage, it could just be a special use permit for RV and boat storage in Rule 43 zoning. I mean, self-storage. Self-storage. I apologize. If it's self-storage, it's less likely. Regardless, it is all uses entitled under C2, except those few prohibited uses
That are on there. And Chairman Lindblom did kind of put the question out to commissioners, and we want to give that opportunity. Is there any feedback by the other commissioners that would like to weigh in on this? Chairman Lindblom, how about we have the applicant come up, maybe add some color to this situation, this discussion? Please introduce yourself. Okay.
Thank you. Sometimes the question without the information is a little bit of a vacuum. So members of the commission, thanks. This is Adam Baugh at Withymore Spa. It's a packed room here today. I don't know how we all were able to fit in such a cavernous space. I'll be brief, but I appreciate the chance to bring this forward you today. A lot's changed in this area, particularly the Lifetime Shopping Center directly across the street. And what you can't see directly to the north is land that's being marketed and assembled right now for commercial development as well. So eventually these three corners will all be developed with commercial uses. What's important here, if you look down to the south of us, is a blue area, which is a Gilbert Christian school. And that was developed in the county and stayed in the county, and it did not need to annex in and was able to develop their site on septic and have town water. And so I think that context is a little helpful to appreciate why what we're proposing and why we're doing here. When you look at this piece, let me go through a couple maps quicker. This is the commercial sort of a radius map, 1 mile, 3 mile, 5 mile rings to shows you what type of commercials in this area. And these are very, very, very small commercial corners and parcels, but there's not a lot. And I think over the years, South Gilbert, which is primarily large lot residential, now with a lot of new subdivisions have come in, need commercial services. And it's expected you would have these at arterial intersections. And so when you look at our property right there, the very center of that ring, there's just not a lot within a mile and not a lot within 3 miles. And so we sort of are fulfilling the neighborhood services that people expect to see in this area. What we're proposing in green is a storage facility in the back and then retail shops and restaurants on the front side. We fully expect that our front side will likely develop into the town, and our green side will likely develop in the county. The difference is the green side has very little trips and very little activity, and so something like that can operate on a septic, whereas the balance of the retail clearly would need to annex and use town utilities. And just like Gilbert Christian to the south, I can appreciate what Darren's suggesting is, hey, we don't really want to create new perpetual county islands, but there is one here to the south and will always be there because it's already a built Gilbert Christian school. So our appendage onto that area is sort of a different situation than maybe what you look at other places. What we do know is that entering into a pre-annexation agreement requires council action, which takes a lot of time. And at some point now it becomes a different form of negotiation, which is so much more intensive than just saying, we're going to give you water or sewer here. So in our case, the green can certainly stay on septic, and the rest of the Balance Shopping Center would likely annex into the town. We've had a chance to communicate and share this plan with the town, and this is what I appreciate where we're at today. In all regards, our development for the retail shopping center conforms not to the county standards, but to the town standards. So it's actually greater and more beneficial setbacks than the minimum standards I'd do in the county. And we did that because in our collaboration with the town, we knew that we were likely going to annex on the front part. And we want to make sure that the front part, if it came in, could comply. And so we've designed our plan per the town standards on the front part. The back part, we've always expected we would stay in the county. And so as you can look at this, what we think is this is appropriate next to our arterial intersection. It's compatible with the type of retail you'd expect to see in this area. And we have collaborated with our neighbors on their edges to the north and to the east. So that way we could put our project in a manner in which they could be supportive of. And so I think that's why one of the reasons why staff can recommend approval. At the end of the day, we actually don't really necessarily have a big problem with the STIP. My concern though is that it gives undue leverage to the other jurisdiction when we only need to keep the green part in the county. So if I could suggest, I would prefer it be strucken, but if not, you could also just simply modify STIP 16D to say accepting the self-storage facility, and then you could leave the rest of the language that way. That way you know that the balance of the shopping center will come in and annex into the town, will enter into a pre-annexation agreement if necessary, or will subletter, but it doesn't preclude the green from staying in the county, as many self-storage facilities have done over time and time again. So with that being said, I'll be brief and just want to make sure I gave that information before the question was proposed to the balance of the commission today.
Okay, let's check with the commissioners. Do we have anybody, any of the commissioners that have questions for the applicant at this time?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Tom. I had a question regarding the storage facility, actually. It says on the site layout that it's going to be 2-story, but I see the C2 allows for 45-foot height, which to me seems like a really tall building to put in the backyard of the 2 residential homes that are already there. So can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, I can. Interesting background. When we purchased this land from the owners who are directly north and east of us, we had to enter into a setback and a height restriction agreement with them, which has been recorded. And so this is actually consistent with those folks. So they knew, what was coming down the road, and they built those mechanisms in place as part of the sell to us when we purchased this a few years ago. So our plan and layout is actually compliant with that recorded agreement.
And what is that? Do you know offhand what that height restriction is that you guys agreed to?
Yeah. For example, no structures within, I believe, 30 feet, and no 2-story structures within 80 feet. Is that within 85 feet? And so we've made sure that we've shifted our building away to be compatible with that negotiated consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, other commissioners, any questions? Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience that's here to speak on this? We have no cards presented. And if I can ask David, do we have anybody online that's decided to raise their hand or participate in this discussion?
We're not aware of anyone online.
Okay. Maybe a question back to staff. So what do you think about a compromise like that's been suggested?
Mr. Chairman, I think we'll leave that up to the commission discussion.
Okay.
The
Strong feelings.
staff recommendation remains with the conditions.
Good. Okay, Chairman Lindblom, did you have any follow-up hearing now from the applicant?
Yeah, I think where I stand on this is, and especially if the applicant's okay with that, is I do feel like I would like to modify that stipulation where that retail and front yeah, I mean, part of me, the part of me that really, I personally just feel like I don't like requirements of pre-annexation for development. I just don't. So I feel strongly that's a compromise for me to even say allowing to split it, because I personally don't feel like any change any pre-annexation should be required. I understand the County Island concern, but I also view that if you want somebody to join you, you give them a reason to join you. And so I don't like forcing people to have to join a municipality to be able to develop their land, whether it's commercial or residential. I just feel like that's a wrong precedent. And so if the commission, I think I'm prepared to make a motion to strike the pre-annexation completely, outside of anyone on this commission feeling strongly that I would be prepared to go halfway on my principles and say, all right, we could leave the greenfield part in the back. But to me, that feels like even just I think that would create the possibility of a greater county island. Listening to staff, I think leaving it as a requirement of no pre-annexation, and then the whole entire thing, like, I think the parcel's more likely to be annexed down the road, but that's just kind of my thought. So.
Okay. Would you like to put that in a formal motion then, sir?
Yeah, you know what? I'll just make a motion. I'm going to make a motion to strike the pre-annexation. I am fine with them requiring a will serve for the water if the applicant's okay with that, but not for sewer.
Okay. So we have that motion. The applicant, did you want to respond to that? If that's appropriate, he jumped up.
Can you ask if they're okay with the will serve on the water?
Please.
I don't know how much water this facility is truly going to need. There's one bathroom and there's not a lot of people here. We may end up just doing a well. So I don't know if I would,
Okay.
I don't know if that kind of puts us back to where we are at the beginning. So I would,
Okay.
if we're going to strike it, we may just strike it all.
Please. Okay, hold on just for a moment, Darren.
Mr. Chairman, for your deliberation, I was going to suggest if you were considering the compromise discussed earlier, you could have condition D say, prior to precise plan of development approval, other than for self-storage uses, the applicant shall provide, et cetera.
Okay. Maybe we'll hold on to that for just a second because we do have a formal motion by, yes, sir?
No, I'm okay with that. I needed, before that formal motion, I needed to know applicant was okay with it. So I did not, I'm saying I did not technically make a formal motion there.
Oh,
so,
thank you.
Can I ask the applicant if they are okay with that wording that Darren just said?
And he's coming to the pulpit.
I believe so. Darren, would you mind repeating it?
I would read it in its entirety. Stip D could be revised to say, prior to precise plan of development approval, other than for self-storage uses, the applicant shall provide the Maricopa County Planning and Development Department with an executed pre-annexation utility service agreement with the town of Gilbert that identifies the detail for when the proposed project will be annexed and the provision of water and sewer service. In lieu of pre-annexation service agreement, the developer must provide a will serve letter from their certificated water and sewer providers.
Excellent. Fully agree with that.
Okay.
I'm glad you said that, Adam, because that's as far as you were going to get. So
nice.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that too. So I am prepared to make a motion for approval with the change in stipulation. I believe it was D, as Darren just stated.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, do you mind if I ask the other commissioners, they've heard this proposed language before you make your formal motion? Is there any other commissioner that would have a concern or would like the verbiage changed before the formal motion goes out?
Yeah.
I mean, this is Commissioner Toma. I don't have any objection to the wording. I don't support changing the staff recommendation. I think there's a lot. I mean, with them doing potential restaurant use, I mean, C2 is a really broad category. They can put a lot in there. So just thinking about, if there's bars or restaurants, the sheriff having to roll out it as opposed to local police. I would support leaving it as staff has recommended it, and sounded like the applicant was okay with that. And then I don't like the idea of carving out an even smaller county island for just the self-storage, but I don't feel strongly about it, and I just wanted to explain my vote.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Chairman Finter. And
yes.
And I hope that by making that stipulation, Commissioner Toma, that we actually just accomplish what you're saying. Like, unless it is self-storage, they have to go through the pre-annexation. So that is what I think we just did through that change in stipulation, was we made it where if there are other uses, they will go through a pre-annexation process. So.
Okay. Just other commissioners, any feedback before the formal motion's made? Hearing none, we would
all right. That's my formal motion then, that we'll put it out
Wonderful.
there with that change of stipulation D, as Mr. Gerard stated.
Okay, do you feel comfortable with
And
that?
that's a motion for approval.
Okay, we have a motion for approval from Chairman Lindblom, and staff feels comfortable with the verbiage and everything that we've done. Okay, do we have a second?
Mr. Acting Chairman, this is Warren Whitney. I will second the motion.
Wonderful. A second by Commissioner Whitney. Let's go ahead and vote. Oh, unless there's anybody who wants to say anything about their vote. If not, we'll go ahead and take a roll call here.
Acting Chair Finter,
I'm a yes.
Commissioner Layton,
Yes.
Commissioner Milhaven,
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Toma,
Yes.
Commissioner Whitney,
Yes.
Chairman Limblom.
Yes.
Chairman, we have a motion for recommending approval by a vote of 6-0.
Okay, motion for approval. Thank you. Do we have any other items from staff?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do have a couple announcements.
Thank you. Sure.
Good morning, Commissioners. Just wanted to let you know for the August 7th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, we're changing the GoToWebinar user interface, so it will look a little bit different. So I just wanted to give you a notice in regards to that. And then also the August 21st Zipper meeting has been changed to a regular hearing. We sent out notice this morning just to update your calendars.
Wonderful. Thank you. And we sure appreciate staff, all the good work you do. And I wanted to echo Chairman Limblom's. I love the way the county, with Maricopa County, approaches things. I've seen nothing but a can-do attitude, which I really find refreshing and appreciate. If there's no other information from the staff, then we'll go ahead and call this meeting adjourned.